If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you should know not to trust me with any type of scientific advice, any type of scientific opinion. Any thought I have is usually out my butt, so like don't even bother listening to me. But I just had a question and kind of just wanted to talk out my thought process about something that's probably completely incorrect, but just kind of came across my mind. So this is definitely not medical advice. This is not financial advice. This is not life advice. This is just me kind of thinking through thoughts and kind of just shooting at the wind, you know, maybe just to say, I don't know. But I wanted to talk about my confusion about saturated fats versus unsaturated fats. So everyone, common knowledge is that unsaturated fats are good and saturated fats are bad. So unsaturated fats would be things like olive oil, peanut oil, avocado oil, things that are not solid, so liquid at room temperature. Whereas saturated fats would be things like butter, lard, coconut oil, things that are solid at room temperature, right? So basically all you have to do is put it in the refrigerator. If it becomes solid, then it's a saturated fat. If it stays liquidy, then it's unsaturated fat, right? So my question is, how is it that just whether or not it stays solid at room temperature determines whether or not it's healthy? I don't understand how that's the single criteria in deciding healthy oil or healthy fat versus unhealthy oil, unhealthy fat. It like, how can it be that clear cut? It just doesn't make sense, right? So I found a few articles, right? They don't support my claim, but they just kind of you'll see, right? So again, not medical advice. I'm just thinking, right? Don't listen to me whatsoever, okay? I am an idiot. I am not trained in any medical thing whatsoever. I'm just putting it out there, putting my thoughts, and someone please correct me. Someone please find some type of, I don't know what it is, please, because I'm confused. I'm looking online and things don't really convince me that much, and I don't want, I try not to be like biased or do confirmation bias, but nothing really like convinces me 100% that just because it's a saturated fat, it is now unhealthy, right? So I guess the first thing is really, so like people say, okay, so like your lard, your butter, that's unhealthy, and then your olive oil, your avocado oil, your coconut oil is healthy, right? But coconut oil is a saturated fat. Huh? Right? And apparently olive oil is also contains some type of saturated fat. So is it just that most saturated fats are unhealthy and then some saturated fats are healthy? Or is it, I don't know, right? But so like, where is the line, right? It cannot just be that, oh, because you're solid at room temperature, you can go the way of the dodo bird, right? I think, honestly, my opinion, right, is I feel that the only reason why saturated fats are more unhealthy, again, my opinion, not medical advice, right? My opinion is that because saturated fats are solid at room temperature and because of the properties of thickening soups, thickening sauces, right? Because of that property, we tend to eat more of it on accident than we do with unsaturated fats, right? So for example, let's say if you compare a soup that's thickened with cream or thickened with butter, right? Then you eat the butter, you're literally drinking or eating the butter, right? Versus if you have like a scallion oil, like let's say scallion noodles, right? Scallion oil noodles, or like even chili oil noodles, right? You eat the noodles, but then most of the oil drips to the bottom, so you're not technically eating all of that oil, right? So I like, is it just because you're usually, like, oftentimes when you eat saturated fats, you're over consuming the saturated fats, versus when you're eating unsaturated fats, you might be cooking with it, but then a lot of it stays in the pan, a lot of it stays on the bottom of your bowl, right? Like, for example, again, butter, right? Like, you scrape that on bread, right? You put that on pancakes, so you're literally eating knobs of butter. So I don't know, like, again, I please someone, if like, so I guess my what I'm saying is it just because we tend to overconsume saturated fats just because of how we eat them and how we cook with them, or is it actually because an underlying like characteristic or attribute of saturated fats. I tried Googling it. I tried looking I tried to avoid confirmation bias. I found some articles. Let's go through them, right? So the first one is this one, right? So this is, again, so one thing to note is try to go for more try to go for the .govs, the .edus. Don't go to like healthline.com or like, I don't know, like my keto way of life, health is wonderful, whatever .ca or something like that. Like, try to go for like, at least look at the .govs, look at the .edus. Those domains are usually a lot harder to get. So that's what I think. But even then, even if you do look at these, don't trust them with 100%, right? Even these will be incorrect. Even the .govs, even the .edus, even the hard to acquire domains, even those will sometimes have it wrong. So this one says saturated fats will cause heart disease, right? I mean, obviously we know about that, right? It'll increase your cholesterol, it'll lead to weight gain, right? And it says that, let's see, what does it say? Okay, whatever. So basically it's saying that, okay, so eating saturated fats will increase your risk of heart disease, and it will also increase weight gain. So I feel like this is just stupid, because just the overall characteristic, like the characteristic of oil, defining characteristic of oil is that it has more calories than other forms of macros, right? Right? It has 9.5 calories per gram, whereas protein has 4, and then carbs have 4, alcohol has 6, right? So just eating the same amount of any type of fat, any type of oil will lead to weight gain if you were to switch out the same amount of like by weight, the same amount of protein or same amount of carb with oil or fat, then you will gain weight because you're intaking more calories, right? That's what this article says. Sure, that's not like something new or anything, right? This is all stuff that's like basically common knowledge. People are saying saturated fats raise your LDL, whereas unsaturated fats raise your HDL, and then HDL is better to have as opposed to LDL. My opinion is that cholesterol doesn't come from eating, it comes from your lifestyle. So like eating too much, not just from what you're eating, but eating too much or not moving enough. That's my opinion. But again, not a doctor. I am not a doctor in any way, shape, or form. I am an idiot on the computer, on the internets, being an idiot, okay? Anyways, next article. So just keep that in mind, right? So this is what it's saying that saturated fats do, right? It increases LDL, and then it increases your weight. So here's another one, right? This is .uk. I don't know if this is true. This is NHS. I don't know if this is, I think that's National Health. I don't know what this is, but this one, right? So again, not that trustworthy, but this one is saying that saturated fats, where is it? I just had it. Oh no. Oh no, where is it? Okay. Unsaturated fats. If you want to reduce your risk of heart disease, it's best to reduce your overall fat intake and then swap saturated fats for unsaturated fats. There's good evidence that replacing saturated fats with some unsaturated fats can help lower your cholesterol. Again, I feel like it's always, like, every time you see a sentence that's linking fat consumption or oil consumption with cholesterol levels, it's always, there is some evidence, there is a link, there is a correlation, but there's never any, like, anything that it doesn't really seem defined, it doesn't really seem like for sure. So I don't know, right? And it says monosaturated fats include nuts like almond, Brazil, peanut oil, right? Avocado, olive oil, rapeseed oil, whatever, right? I'm not gonna go into people that are like, oh, seed butters, or those people are idiots. Those people are freaking idiots. Who's that one dude? The carnivore MD or whatever? Freaking idiot. Freaking idiot. Okay? So annoying. Anyways, so this is saying that these will reduce the level of bad LDL in your cholesterol. Peanut oil. So remember peanuts, right? Peanuts, almond, it doesn't matter actually. Olive oil, rapeseed oil, whatever, right? Now we go to this one. Harvard.edu, right? So this one we can maybe we can trust it a little bit more, but again, I'd say don't trust any source 100%. Always cross-reference, always cross-check, always, like, that's just a good rule of thumb for anything on the internet, because anyone can post anything, right? I can post this video, which it's probably gonna be like, why is this guy even talking? Who's he even talking to? I don't know, whatever. But this is saying, this is the stupidest article ever, right? So this says, what foods lower cholesterol, right? Oats, barley and grain, eggplant, nuts, vegetable oil, apple, okay, fruit, foods fortified with whatever that is. Soy, fatty fish. Okay, so like a bunch of like random, probably like unsaturated fats, a bunch of fruits, vegetables. That's more or less just eat healthy, right? Complex carbs, whatever. What foods cause high cholesterol, right? Red meat, fried foods, processed meats, baked goods, right? So red meat, because it's high in saturated fat, right? Fried food, because it's been dipped in the deep fryer. But wait, right? So it says chicken wings, mozzarella sticks, onion rings, whatever, right? But I want you to look at this dipped in the deep fryer. What oil is usually used in the deep fryer? It's either going to be peanut oil or vegetable oil, right? Like more likely, more often than not, peanut oil or vegetable oil. I don't see any deep fryer using butter. I don't see any deep fryer using lard. I definitely don't see any deep fryer using coconut oil, right? So fried foods, so you're saying that, so Harvard is saying that a regular carrot is fine, but then like when you dip it in like a oil bath and then you deep fry it, it's now no longer good. But why? Because it was dipped in some unsaturated fat. But didn't you just say unsaturated fat up here is good at lowering your cholesterol? Because vegetable oil? Huh? Like, I am confusion, okay?
So I am confusion. America, explain!
I don't understand. So, like, again, this goes back to the point where I think that increasing your cholesterol levels has more to do with the amount you're consuming and your lifestyle and like the way you eat food, rather than really like what you're eating. Rather than, I mean, maybe yeah, what you're eating probably has to do a little bit with it, but like, like it's not. This isn't to say that unsaturated foods are bad. It's just that it's to say that eating too much of either saturated fats or unsaturated fats is bad. And like this kind of, it doesn't confirm it, but like it kind of collaborates? No, corroborates? No, what's the word? It's not evident. It doesn't refute my argument, right? This does not refute my argument. This is kind of going along with my argument and saying that I believe that, again, my opinion. I can't stress that out enough, right? It's my opinion. Take everything I say with 15 grams of salt and a deep fryer worth of oil, okay? I think it has to do with, because saturated fats, the way you eat it, you're eating the entire saturated fat. You're eating the entire amount of fat, and nothing's being left on the on your plate, in the pan, or whatever, because you're like scooping it up with like, maybe you're scooping it up with a chip, maybe you're spreading it on your bread or your pancakes, right? Maybe you're I don't know, but like in the one time when unsaturated fats are being absorbed by the food you're eating and you're legit eating unsaturated fats, in the case of fried foods, right, where the batter basically just absorbs the oil, that then is bad, right? So like this kind of, I don't know, okay, so like I beat this with the dead horse already, or I beat the dead horse already, so I feel, okay, next article. Next article. And then there's a study, right? So like this is also .gov, and this is also a clinical trial, I think. So this is saying that if you read through it, it basically says that at the very end, participants were given a chore to basically, for 4 weeks, they eat 50 grams of some type of dietary fats, right? So either butter, extra virgin olive oil, or extra virgin coconut oil. And then they could eat it however they want it, either through a pill or either through just cooking it and adding it into their diet. And at the end of the study, they found that basically people that ate butter, their LDL, which is technically the quote unquote bad cholesterol, which again, I don't know. You're supposed to have a balanced LDL, HDL, so like I don't really see what's what can technically be bad cholesterol or good cholesterol when they have to be balanced. But that tangent aside, LDL, bad cholesterol, was increased significantly when they ate butter as compared to when they used coconut oil or olive oil, right? So it increased by a good 0.42, 0.38, which I'm assuming probably a big number. It looks like a big number, as opposed to when you use coconut oil with olive oil is minus 0.04. Right, so I'm assuming big number, big problem, right? Your LDL increased by that much. But so you're probably thinking, okay, well, this study basically is evidence that, so yeah, I mean, like, these results corroborate that if you switch your fat intake to a saturated fat, namely in this case butter, then you do see a relatively a significant increase, or significant, like, yeah, you do see a significant increase in your LDL. But again, this goes back to what I'm saying, right? Look at the how do you say it? How they were administered to do this, right? They just had to increase their oil consumption or their fat consumption by 50 grams daily, either through, where does it say that? Either incorporate it into their usual diet or consume as a supplement. So what, like, honestly, like, if I were me, right? If it were me as a contestant, or not a contestant, as in participant, I would never do the supplement. That just sounds disgusting. You have to eat just 50 grams of butter, just like or 50 grams of olive oil, like, that just sounds disgusting, right? So, like, obviously I'd want to cook or like somehow incorporate this type of oil into my diet, whether it's through just adding it to my pan, whether it's through just like adding it as a spread, right? And that goes back to my previous point, where is it just the way you're consuming it? Is it just because you're consuming all of the 50 grams if you were to eat the butter, versus if you're going to eat the olive oil or the extra virgin olive oil or extra virgin coconut oil, you're eating, maybe out of the 50 grams, you're only eating, let's say 30, or even like 40, or even like 20, right? Because most of the oil is in the pan, most of the oil is on the bottom of your bowl that you're not going to be like licking up, right? So is that the case? Again, like, licking up brings me to the point where, like, you don't lick, like, no one licks or spoons the scallion oil or the chili oil on the bottom of your bowl. But then if it's like some type of sauce that was thickened with mayonnaise, with butter, right? So for example, like In-N-Out spread, I think In-N-Out spread, or like Big Mac spread, right? That oil, that sauce or that fat is incorporated in a way where it tastes good and has enough like viscosity to the point where sometimes you do want to lick your bowl, or you do want to spoon the remaining sauce into your mouth. That brings me to the point where maybe if when you're eating the butter, you're eating like 45 grams of butter, like 47 grams of butter, versus the olive oil or the coconut oil, maybe you're only eating 30 grams of butter, or 30 grams of the unsaturated fat, or maybe like 25 grams of the unsaturated fat. So I've been basically saying the same thing over and over again, but I was wondering, like, does anyone have any like irrefutable evidence, or any like anything that says, like, it doesn't say there's a linkage or there's like some correlation, right? I want like an actual like set in stone, like something, or maybe just talk in the comments or something, and just I want to be taught, I want my point to be proven, or I want to be disproven, just because I feel like I'm an idiot if I say this anywhere else. But then, like, on the internet, obviously everyone lies, everyone tells stupid bullcrap. So maybe I fit. I fit. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. I guess, long story short, I believe that your the healthiness of a fat isn't whether or not it's unsaturated fat or it's saturated fat. It's how much of that fat you're eating, and in that case, then it doesn't matter what you're eating, if it's saturated fat or if it's unsaturated fat. Those are my thoughts. I don't know. Again, not medical advice, not financial advice, not life advice, not tax advice, not chemistry advice. I'm not helping you with homework. Have a good day.